Hey, this is Joanna Hunter, and I am joined by a very special guest today for my special new little episode called Client Features. So I'm joined by the lovely Heather Teysko, and I'm absolutely so excited to have her here with me. She is in Spain at the moment, and I'm going to let Heather introduce herself and what she does.
So hi, thank you for having me. And I am Heather Teysko, and I like to say that I'm a storyteller who makes history accessible because I believe it's a pathway to understanding who we are, our place in the universe, and to getting more deeply in touch with our own humanity. So my particular passion is 16th century England, and I'm passionate about the ideas and about the music and about just kind of what was going on in 16th century England, which for those who don't immediately associate it is the time period of the Tudors. Though I'm not so much interested in the drama of the Tudors, I'm more interested in the whole holistic view. Anyway, I've had this podcast going on since 2009, which is getting a lot of downloads, about 40,000 downloads a month. And I thought there's got to be some way to monetize that. And so I had written a novel, and I was trying all these different things, and I quit my job and was living off of savings when I moved to Spain, and I thought, okay, this is going to be the time when I really figure it out. And I spent like 15 months just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, and I was going to set up tours, and I just kind of had all these ideas, and nothing seemed to be working. And in the first year of doing that, I think I made about $600 off of my book sales, and also maybe a couple $100 off of Patreon subscriber or patrons who supported my podcast.
Okay.
But it wasn't like enough to
setting the world on fire.
No, it wasn't. And I kept being really frustrated because I thought, like, I know I have these skills. Like, I know I have something to say here. And like, I know, like, I started blogging in 2002. I started my podcast in 2009. Like, I have some skills and some experience in this stuff. And I thought, like, why isn't it working? So that's when I started working with you.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I loved about Heather when we were on the discovery call together was that you just came with all these passions. You were so honest. Your arms were open. You had these passions. You're like, I've only made like $600 and I love it. I don't want to get a job. And, and these are the things that I'm really passionate about. And I could tell the passion, and it got me really excited. And I believe that the passion is of the soul, and I believe that the soul's nature is to be abundant. So I knew that she was already in the vein of where she needed to be for abundance. We just had to figure out how that could be monetized, and I knew that it could be done. So I was really excited to work with her because I'd be really honest, had like no clue how that was going to work when she first came on. But I thought, no, you know what, we just need to get her into super alignment. And it'll start to flow. I knew it would. And so that's what we did. You took an 8-week package with me. Mm-hmm. And we began having weekly Skype sessions or Zoom sessions. And tell me a little bit about what that was like to work with. Was I scary, or was I not too bad?
No, you were really great. Like, you had, I think, I had done some personal development work, so I was kind of familiar with like having somebody have honest conversations with me and really be straight with me. Mm-hmm. And so I really welcomed that. And also what I love about you, and I tell this to people, is like, you were this great mix of like woo-woo, goofy woo-woo, new age stuff with like actually having really practical advice. And like, I remember, I think I started asking you like on our second session if I could like record our sessions, because you were like just throwing stuff at me so fast, like woo, 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 try this, try that, try this. And I like just could not keep up with writing it all down. And it was like, you were just so full of this like really practical advice, when at the same time, like, you do Eft tapping with me and, talk about my energy. And I think one of the most valuable things early on was for us to talk about like my money stories, because, that was a big part, I think, of what is, I'm still kind of working through that, yeah. But feeling like I deserved it, feeling like, I think part of it was, I come from like farm town, Pennsylvania, where people, like, if they're like teachers and they're nurses and they're doctors and lawyers, they don't like telling stories about 16th century England. Like, if they are self-employed, they like own a shop that does this, or they,
Yeah. Very traditional roles.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
to say like, yeah, I make an abundant living telling stories about 16th century England. What? Who does that?
Yeah.
And so like kind of getting clear on like, I can do it,
Mhm.
and everybody could do something like that if they wanted to, there's nothing stopping people. And like, so just, I started writing affirmations. Like I have a whole wall that's filled with affirmation. I can turn my computer and you see I have all these
Yay. I
little
love
color things, little
affirmations.
post-its, and that's what I look at all day is like, yeah, actually I can. And stuff like that. And it felt so weird at first to say like, I welcome money in, and, I welcome abundance in. But I really get that, like, as you start saying it, your thinking really changes and your energy really changes, and you actually really can welcome money in. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, so what I really loved is that you worked with me on that energy part while also giving me practical ideas and practical solutions.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think the practical thing is really important to me, that I do give actual practical strategies, things to actually try. But I'm also so aware that you can give the best strategies out, but if the energy for receiving is not there, so you need a help with creating the
Yeah.
energy for receiving. And I think, it was really evident very clearly on that these small town Pennsylvania stories were like running in the background, running the show, and it was that whole, who am I to make money off something that I'm so passionate about? And
Yeah.
and I think, it was really, and it was great that you really adopted, because sometimes we did get a little bit weird, and I was like, let's try EFT tapping, and it was kind of like, okay.
Well, I've done it with Brad Yates, and it's on YouTube, but it's so funny. I always felt so stupid. But like, you did it, you made it really not feel stupid, and I kind of do it all the time now.
It's good, right? And it really works. It really helps to get deep into that energy and shift. So we've worked together for 8 weeks, and we've had a bit of a break now, actually, for a few weeks, but you have just been crushing it. So share some of your amazing wins that you have had. What does your financials look like for your business now?
Well, the thing is, so in mid-October, last year, I had this idea to put together a planner, because I love my planners. Love planners. And so I had this idea to put together a tutor planner that was like this week in tutor history, along with like music suggestions, but was also like a cool planner, right? And had like quotes for tutors, and was all in like a beautiful cover, right? And so you said you should totally go with that. And, you helped me find a designer who was your husband. And, and it was really great. I didn't know InDesign. Like, I didn't know how to do this. I like just Googled how to make a planner. And, I saw that you had to use InDesign. So I downloaded InDesign. I got like tutorials and figured it out.
Yeah.
And I started putting up the Facebook ads for it. And I have one of my proof copies right here. This is the 2017 weekly
Oh,
tutor.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah. So anyway, I started putting up Facebook ads on November 3rd. And to date, I have sold $7,800 worth of these. I also got and that's about 6 weeks since we're talking right now. And I also, during this time period, got somebody to actually put money. So I've been talking about doing these tours for 16 months. And I actually got like a real person, 2 of them, to put down $1,500 of a deposit for a tour at the end of April.
Awesome.
So in the past 6 weeks, I've generated $9,300, of which probably about $6,000, no, $5,500 of that is profit. And so, I mean, that's like, even just the $9,300, seeing this come in every day, like 10 PayPal orders, you've got money, it's like so cool to see this, you've got money. And
especially since the 15 months prior to that had been a bit like trying to figure it all out, feeling really stuck, feeling really frustrated. And I know that frustration so well. I've been there, and I do know what that feels like. And it's like winning the lottery, isn't it? When those PayPals start going in, isn't it?
Yeah, no. The first time I came in, I was like really scared, like, I have to like deliver on this now. But it's like great seeing it come in now. Now it's kind of dying off because we're getting close to Christmas, and people have bought their Christmas gifts and stuff, and it's like, oh, I only got 2 today. Oh, but it's still really cool. And so now I'm thinking about the next thing. And so in terms of other wins, the Facebook ads, I just didn't even think about this happy side effect. I just had no idea this was going to happen like this. I put up the Facebook ads, and I thought, okay, people come to the website and either buy the planner or they'll leave and they won't buy the planner. I did not think of the third option, which is that they might not buy the planner, but they might sign up to my mailing list. And so when I first started talking to you, I was so struggling. Like, it had taken me, I started my mailing list in September of 2015, because that was like when I was starting to do my stuff. I knew I needed to have a mailing list. And up until November of 2016, I had amassed a whopping 330 people on it, which, is great. I'm not going to say no to that, but it's not quite where I wanted to be, And this morning, or just now, I checked, and I have 1,626 people on my mailing list. So
it's a huge win.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that? It's not even tripled. It's not even quadrupled. It's like what?
Yeah.
Quadrupled, more than quadrupled.
Like quadrupled. Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's really in the last 6 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was on November 3rd when I put up the first Facebook ad. And it's early on. Yeah, I think it's now starting to reach this point of saturation where people have seen the ads and stuff. So I need to kind of switch things around, because early on I was getting 30, 40, 50, even some days signups a day. And now it's like tapered off to 10, which it used to be like 0. But,
amazing. It's like lucky if it was 10 a month, and now it's like, even 10 a day is amazing. It's really, really great. And it's great that that's been growing as well, because what you're doing is you're building that ready-made market for maybe next year's planner or the tours. And of course, you're building that niched market, because they're not going to sign up to a Choose Your podcast if they're not into that in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So now I'm thinking about the next things I can do with the list and all of, I mean, it's like, so I'm trying to send out really good content, and, trying to think about the next step of really, like, I never really thought about list management before. And now I'm thinking about like maintenance ongoing of like engagement. And before it was just like building. And now that I have this good number, it's like, how can I really engage with them? And so that's what
and exactly, it's the next stage, is really building those relationships, building strong relationships with your potential clients and with your with your members of your list, basically, and really building that connections that lead to building a tribe. And I'm so excited for you. I mean, you've had some major wins with these massive growth on your list. That alone would be a huge win, but the fact that you've financially really turned such a humongous corner. And then also as well, when you sent me that message to say that you'd taken the deposits for your tour, and I knew how much these tours meant to you. I mean, I did the happy dance in my house. I was like, yay, because it was so awesome. And I was like, it's really, to me, it's amazing when my clients can get to live their dreams too, because I feel like I get to live my dream life doing what I love, and it's awesome when my clients get to do that as well. But one of the things that I've loved about you in this journey is that you've really taken action. When you said that you would do something, you went ahead and you did it. And I can't take any of this credit really for you, because you really did all this yourself. You really applied the information. At the end of the day, I might give good information, but if you don't do anything with it, it really is, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you've, you really, really applied yourself, and you've literally created this out of really nothing to start with. It was just this podcast that had loads of downloads. It was awesome. You had this massive passion, and then we've just pulled all these little threads, wasn't it, really, and created this brand new energy around. And now we've got this huge, now you've got this huge buzz around your podcast. My
podcast listenership is up like 54% as well. So that's another kind of win. Yeah.
See, with me, the wins just keep coming. It is awesome. So what I just want to ask is, here's $1 million question. Would you recommend working with me, Heather?
Of course. Are you kidding? Like 1,000 times, yes. Like,
Right.
it's funny because when I first, we had our discovery call and I
Mhm.
booked in while we were on the call because
That's right. Yeah.
I got to do something. And the other thing I want to say about that, when I talked to you, it was right. I had run out of savings and I had just tapped into one of my retirement accounts. And
Mhm.
I felt really uneasy about doing this because I was like, this is like supposed to be the money that you don't touch, right?
Mhm.
But I also thought, like, okay, like I can't give up on myself now. Like I have to see this as an investment in myself. And so I saw it like I was an investor who had invested in myself. And I
Yeah.
always used to say stuff like when I had a job and stuff, and I was an assistant director of a very large library consortium, and I, had a 6-figure job. So that's, what I had. And I used to say to myself all the time, like, I see people doing really awesome things. I know I can do something really awesome. What I need is somebody to just invest in me, right? I need
Mhm.
somebody to some kind of angel person to just
Right.
throw
Yeah.
$50,000 at me and say, here, go be awesome. Use this money to go be awesome. And I feel like, during the first year when we were living off of my savings, I still didn't take it. Like, I feel like part of me still didn't take it. Like, my back wasn't against the wall kind of thing as much, even because it was like, okay, well, it's the savings and blah, 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 blah. But once I took the money out of my one retirement account, it was like, okay, like, this is it. You are your investor. Like, you need to see it. Like, somebody just handed you this chunk of money. You need to do something with it now, and you need to report to your investor, like as if an investor gave me the money. So I
Right.
started taking
Okay.
it really seriously. Like, I invest in myself. I am my investor. I expect to see some dividends or some payments, some interest on this.
Yeah. Actually, it
And
was one of the
so,
questions
like,
that you asked me during our discovery call was, what is the rate of return that I can expect? And I said, well, I can't guarantee that because obviously you have to do the work. But if you're really willing to take the action, I know that you will see a great rate of return. And you proved that.
yeah. Yeah. And so that's the thing. I saw, like, okay, if I'm an investor myself, what are the steps that my investor would want me to do? And I thought, well, the first thing is I've spent 15 months throwing stuff here and nothing's really worked. Like, I need to find somebody who knows what she's talking about and like somebody to coach me. And I'd done a lot of online courses and a lot of communities and a lot of this kind of stuff. And still, like, I knew that I needed somebody to like really push me and hold me accountable and like give me these ideas and kind of just tell me what to do. And so it was kind of, I even remember, like, as I was PayPaling you the money, like, part of me, like, my stomach was just going like, I could do a whole bunch of online courses for this. And then I was like, no, but that's not where, like, that hasn't worked. Like, I need to like have this
Have that
person.
bespoke one-to-one that really
Yeah.
fitted and really tailored for your business.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great courses out there, and I've taken loads of them myself, and there is awesome courses out there, but there just comes that point where you need that one-to-one, where you need somebody that understands your business completely and sort of
Mm-hmm.
has your back in that and says, right, okay, here's maybe why that program didn't work, because you actually needed to do it this way because your business is slightly different, and be
Yeah.
able to see those things.
Yeah. So it was really like, in terms of if somebody's on the fence about working with you or not, like, I think they should just do it. And especially, like, but the thing is, like, you really have to be committed, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have to, like, and that's the thing I saw too. It was like, okay, I'm put down this money. Like, now I got to do it, right? That was the other thing. It's almost like when you put down a course of like $50 a month, it's like, okay, well, that's something, but it's not like this, like, damn, I got to do it,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like, I put down this chunk of money. It's like, okay, now I like really have to work. Like, I really have to take it
Yeah, I have to
seriously.
make this work for me. Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it
So
is.
that,
And I often say, the investment in coaching is not really about me. It's about what you value your results at. It's what you value being, what is that worth to you? And if that is the ability to create a dream life and not have to get a regular job and to be able to live this freedom lifestyle that you want to live, then then that's worth a lot to you. But it's about digging deep into why. And I was remember in our first sessions, I was quite insistent, why do you want to do this? Really,
yeah.
get you really gelled into what it actually means to you. And you were such an action taker. I mean, just from the get-go, and really showing up for the for the calls and then really taking action. And every week when we went through what you had been doing the previous week, you always had like a little note and a little list of like, I did this, this, and this. And it was awesome. But I mean, the rate of return is amazing. And not only that, I do feel like, you know, on a personal level as well, like you can see your confidence in your business now is totally different. Like you talk about it completely differently. You're like, it's like a legit business now, whereas before it was like something that Heather loved to do. Now it's like, no, this is my business.
And it's funny, you told me, actually I even have it written up here. I forget where I have it, but you told me, oh yeah, questions from the universe right up there, because you told me different questions to ask the universe, because you talked about like how you just have to ask the right questions and, you know, stuff like that.
Open up your energy.
One of the questions you said that I should ask the universe, and like it made such a difference to me when I used to say like, I can't figure it out. And like, I would just say that all the time. Like, I have all these passions, but I can't figure it out. And it's like, okay, well, no wonder you're not making any money in your business. You can't figure it out. Ugh. Like, of course, the universe is going to give you can't figure it out. That's what you keep saying. You can't figure it out.
Yes.
And so you told me instead of saying stuff like that, I should ask the question to the universe, what would it take for me to clear this pattern of energy? And also, what would it take? I needed proof. That was like a thing. Like I really wanted to have proof. And he said, so what would it take for me to completely and utterly believe that entrepreneurial shiz is viable and can make me more money than I ever dreamed of? And also, what would be a fun way to prove to me that my business can make more money than I can ever imagine? And so I just started asking those questions. And, you know, like the answers didn't come immediately, but I think that was in like early September you told me to ask those questions. So I've been asking those questions. And, you know, I started getting the first orders for this around, well, the first day it was all my parents, but, you know, early November, I started getting the first orders for the planner. And, you know, I don't know that my career now is going to be making tutor planners, but, you know, that's the other thing is like, I don't really care how I do it. Like there's people who are professional podcasters and then there's like people who are professional tutor experts. And like, I don't really fit into either. I just want to tell stories. So if I can tell stories through planners, if I can tell stories through stationery, if I can tell stories through tours, if I can tell stories, like however I can tell stories, I just want to tell stories.
Yeah.
So,
and
like now I see that there's ways.
Yeah. And it's so fascinating that how those questions really open up your energy to receiving more. And that they're not, you know, they don't close down your energy. Because when you were going, I can't figure out, it's just like a big barrier coming down over your energy and going, okay, well, we have to give her the scenario or the reality of where she cannot figure that out. And just by using a question like that to like open the energy to receiving something, even if you don't know how, because not being able to figure something out and not knowing how are energetically two different things. We might think that the same thing, but it is an energy difference. And the moment that we just admit that we don't know how, but we're willing to have that answer come to us, of course the answers can start to flow to us. And so language is so important, and that's where it comes in with the mindset. And I think that that's where maybe it sets me apart a little bit from other coaches, where they maybe just do the strategy or maybe they just do the mindset like that, whereas I kind of tend to mix the way, the mindset and the business all together with the practical steps so that you get, you know, that kind of more holistic view. It's not just a little pocket of, well, I only do mindset. You know, I understand, like, I can give you the best strategies, but you're not going to be able to make them work if you're still telling the small stories that are keeping you small. You need to tell bigger stories. And I think that was something that you just really ran with. You know, you really began examining so many areas of your life and going, I really am telling myself a story I don't want there. And like, oh, but that area of my life is working, and I do tell myself a really good story there. And it was like this kind of, you could see the pennies dropping with you. You could really see like really getting on board with it and realizing like, oh my God, it really is a reflection. And I think that, you know, it's so funny that we said, because you kept saying about the proof, but I mean, the proof has just been rolling in, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, my daughter's running around upstairs.
Well, we're working on this, both of us. So, I mean, that is just a part of life. But that's one of the beauties of being, you know, a kind of stay-at-home entrepreneur and being able to live the laptop lifestyle, isn't it? That we can be home with our kids and we can do these things. It's amazing.
Well, and it's funny because one of the main things, like, I used to think like, okay, I was just in my job, I earned good money. I actually had a really good setup, like I earned good money, I had good benefits, I kind of worked, it was like funded through the government, so I had really good benefits, really good retirement, all this kind of stuff. 5 weeks vacation. It was, like, on paper, it was like really, really good. And it didn't light me up. And once I had my daughter, I thought, like, I want to be an example for her of, like, that you don't have to live this traditional life where you get a job and you keep it just because it pays you well. And, like, I want to be an example for her of, like, you can follow your passion and you can, like, really make it work. And so I'm actually, like, really happy. Like, one of the things we watch, she loves Frozen, and in the beginning they show the Northern Lights, and she's always like, oh, the Northern Lights. And I love Iceland. I've been to Iceland twice, and I told her, I was like, you know what, when you get a little bit older and you'll remember and understand it, like, I'm going to take you there and we're going to look at the Northern Lights together. And, like, I totally know we will, because it's not going to be like, oh, I have to check vacation time and what's the blah blah blah. And I don't know, like, we're gonna go to Iceland and look at the Northern Lights together, and it's cool.
It's
And
amazing.
and
Another
that's
thing
just
as
what.
well, I think now that we've been working together as well, that knowing as well that to create the funds for that is now a possibility. Like, those possibilities have opened wide open for you now, and realizing, like, oh my God, I can make money on planners, I can do money on lots of things. So really, to wrap up, I wanted to just ask little basically, what exciting plans do you have coming up, and what can people buy, and what's happening in your business?
Well, I'm starting a course on podcasting that I'm going to teach people on. It's the podcast boot camp on how to create and launch a successful podcast in 4 weeks. So that's coming up, launching in mid-January. And then I'm also the planners, I'm going to do them twice a year now, so academic year. And they're still, the 2017 ones are still available right now, but then we'll have an academic year one as well. And I've got the tours to England. So I've got history, it's like a history music tour where we listen and passion about music. So the first one of those is at the end of April for 10 days. So if people want to come to England and have history music, they can do that.
Awesome.
Retreats and stuff around that too, which you gave me that idea. And then I'm also having the next thing stationery wise I'm doing, because I love me some stationery, is a journal, like a love journal that's with quotes from the love letters between Henry and Anne Boleyn. And it's got a beautiful cover that's based on this 15th century illuminated manuscript that it was in the shape of a heart. And it's just gorgeous. So working on that. So
exciting. So tell people where they can find you and where they can get on board with you. I know that there will be in the comments for this. So if you're watching this, there will be in the comments for this or on the blog post for this interview. But I wanted you, if you can tell people where they can find you.
So my website for me personally is heatherteysko.com, HeatherTeysko, heatherteysko.com. And you can also go, maybe easier to remember is Englandcast. That's my podcast website where all the stuff is. And that's ENGLAND, Englandcast, CAST, englandcast.com.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Heather, for letting me interview you as well and sharing your wins with us. It's been so exciting. And I'm so excited for 2017 and what it's going to hold for you. I just feel like it's just going to be a kind of game-changing year, because we've had this kind of game-changing tail end of this year, and really bringing that energy through into 2017. It really is going to be one of these awesome game-changing years. I can't wait to hear how your tours are going to go and everything. It's just amazing to see you live your passions.
Yeah, I got the first people sending me money, so it's actually going to happen.
Of course. Did you doubt it?
Never.
Thank you so much. I will speak to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. I love you.